Hello, hello,
All
hello.
right.
No, it's not too bad.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us, hit that YouTube button for notifications, the bell notifications, so you can get all the notifications of the Chris Voss Show. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and the podcast is now on TuneIn app, so you can take and download it there. Also, be sure to go to patreon.com/Chris Voss. You can win gifts that we do with the show for all the reviews that we do. And also, thanks to AT&T for the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus that we're taking and broadcasting this, simulcasting this on the Periscope network. So you can follow us over there as well. I'm going to welcome a wonderful guest and a good friend of mine. I've known him for a lot of years. He's one of the warmest, nicest guys you'll ever meet. Incredible amounts of integrity. Don't tell him I said that. He's a super nice guy. Bryan Kramer. Bryan Kramer, if you don't know him, you can go to bryankramer.com. He's the TED Talk and keynote speaker. You can watch his TED Talk. It was really awesome. He's the CEO of Purematter. He's the author of best-selling books, Shareology, Human to Human. And if you've seen his podcast or his show he does on Twitter, it's the hashtag H2H hashtag. Welcome to the show, Bryan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for the nice intro and warm welcome.
You got it, man. I always love your background in your podcast. I love that black background. I got to get that set up because it really just contrasts well and it just looks so clean.
You would never know that I'm in a giant warehouse.
A giant warehouse sitting in your underwear, and that's okay. I'm naked right now anyway, below the waist.
It's actually a casino behind me, but we won't talk about it.
There's like a meat factory with hanging meat and like a butchery meat grinder factory behind you making sausage.
Yeah,
just like no one has any idea.
Yeah, Rocky Balboa is hitting some meat. It's pretty intense.
Yo, Adrian! I guess we'll hear that scream every now and then. So how you doing, man? I know you're working on a ton of different projects. I've seen your TED Talk. I know you from the agency. You read a lot of books. Your wife's written a book recently. You got a lot of stuff going on there, man.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting. We've had Purematter for almost 19 years, and we recently just started a new company as well that I'm really excited about. As if what we're doing isn't enough, and so we shifted everything that we did a year ago, and we actually got rid of all of our employees. And I don't say got rid of lightly. It was a hard decision, but we reversed everything that we were working on because we stopped really doing marketing, and we stopped. We started to become more administrators. A lot of the work that we were doing was really interesting, but at the same time, we weren't as close to the work. So, yeah, this last year has been really life changing and for the better.
It's nice now that you can work and do business without having to have an office anymore. I mean, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, virtual teams is it's a thing, right? And everyone's talking about it, and I have a virtual team of 30 people that I work with, and it's fantastic because I think everybody enjoys working on their own time, and I don't think not everyone needs a boss. They just need tasks. And if everybody's doing those set of tasks and you're getting it done on time, that's really the important part. The camaraderie piece is the piece I do miss in person. But then again, I'm not one for small talk, so I don't miss some of that. How's your day? How's the coffee? Like that kind of stuff. I'm more of a deep kind of person, so I actually enjoy this a lot more.
Yeah, the water cooler is probably, water cooler chatter is probably the good stuff to get away from, and the rumor mills and all that sort of stuff. That's the beauty of today's economy, and that entrepreneurs, hopefully they appreciate, is that they don't have to do all that brick and mortar stuff anymore. It's just crazy. When we started companies back in the 90s and built them, I mean, anytime you started saying, I want to start a company, it was like, you got to buy an office, you got to buy office furniture, you got to buy a big phone bank, you got to buy a secretary to sit up front and greet people and answer the phone. And pretty much you're in pretty deep on an investment level before you even open your doors.
Yeah, it's the overhead's a killer when you own a business, and there are certain businesses that are better for that, and there's certain businesses that really just are sinkholes when it comes to overhead and people, and the service business is a really hard business to maintain. With a team inside of an office and a server and, like you said, a front desk person and, just everything that goes with that to maintain a professional environment. And, the interesting thing is we never had a client visit us in over 2 years. And so you start thinking about that, because that's really why you need, it's one of the reasons why you need office space. The other one is that you can brainstorm as a team. But I think you can brainstorm with a team by getting together and just flying out and seeing people once a month, once a quarter, whatever. So yeah, nothing's changed because they never even visited our office. And it's become a little bit easier to not have an office than to just host it there and see people for coffee every morning. So I think there's a bunch of different things I think about though too, where it is good to when you're standing around people and ideas are bubbling and you're brainstorming together, there is something to that physical nature, that human kind of connection that we all need. That's kind of what I talk about all the time. And so I think connection is needed. It's just not for the connection that lands on a service business and the overhead that goes with that, I think, isn't something that was for us.
So you've got a lot of stuff going on. The H2H thing that you run on Twitter, that thing is huge when you put that off. You always have a lot of great guests on there. And then you're working on a few other projects, right?
Yeah, we have. When we made this pivot, the pivot was really so that we could start teaching people everything that we learned from the agency business. And so we're coaching executives and individuals and companies. We're working as kind of like outsourced CMOs, if you will, to work with companies to help them even have agencies and the client talk to each other with the right language and getting the projects done. We have all this great industry knowledge and all these different platforms. So the projects are really built on being kind of a consultancy. So we're working with companies and providing a CMO kind of outsourced service. And then we've got H2H companies, which is an online learning company. And that's H2H Club, which is a private membership area where people can come in and they can group learn online in their own time. We have master classes with all these great people that talk about, how to, so they're all how to's, like how to build your email sequence or how to do live video. We've got people that are teaching about how to write better copy, how to build content. So it's just really fundamental stuff. But then we're also taking it up a notch to having like hot seats and stuff. So we put them on a hot seat in front of everyone. We actually coach them on their business live while everyone is watching. Then people pitch in and actually give suggestions.
Nice.
And that's actually one of my favorite things. We've got a myriad of things that are going on all month, all 12 months, and we've got themes for each month, and it's really a fun thing. I've really been enjoying that.
Nice. I've been seeing the emails on it.
What's that?
I've been seeing the emails on it. It sounds really exciting, all the stuff you have going on. Yeah,
I'm having a blast, man. I'm having a blast. I'm about to bring out my biggest course yet, and it'll be on. I'm reverse engineered the funnel. So there's so many different people out there teaching funnels and confusing people, I think, with what needs to be done. So I brought it back down to the basic level to teach everyone how to build their own funnel. I'm really excited about that too.
I'd be really interested to see what you do with that. That would be really cool. I need to get better at sales funneling and all that sort of good stuff. A lot of my sales are either from my consultancy or ad sales. I sell a lot of ads, having the giant platform and audience that I do. But yeah, I need better sales funnels to make more products. I need to get a book written one of these days. But we're getting there. But yeah, I think some of your stuff will be hugely inspirational in getting it done.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, part of building a funnel that I think everyone doesn't really take into account, and this goes right alongside my brand, right, is how to humanize it. Because a lot of people think, wow, these big gurus making millions of dollars are saying you can make all this easy money and you can churn a funnel so fast and you'll be a millionaire just like me, and I'm calling bullshit on it and saying that's not how it works. There are steps involved and there is hard work. There is a tipping point to all of that, but you have to do all these steps first before you can tip that point. And it's not a light switch that you just turn on by taking their course that makes that happen. But if you do these things, man, there's nothing like getting a purchase, on a cart and receiving that one email where it says you just made, $500 or $1,000 from somebody purchasing your product. And products are much easier to sell and scale than services. So if everyone has an idea or a product, and most people actually do, they have something to teach, they have something to build and help other people with, then doing these little steps that I've outlined and will help you get there to the point where one day you'll see that tipping point. Like, okay, well, if I do this, then I can do this, then I can do this. And at the same time, I can humanize this thing. People can actually reach out. I built a chat bot that says, talk to human anytime. And they can click talk to human and I will be right there. I'll be there and I can talk back with that person. So you really want to make sure that you have both the human side and the automation side in perfect harmony.
So let's talk about what that means to you and what you portray that as, because I know humanize and being human is a big part of your brand. It's a big part of, I think, what draws a lot of people to you, because you don't come across as one of these marketers who's standing in front of a Ferrari saying, I can show you how to make millions, like you say. But let's get to that humanize thing, because I think that's a real, let's say, human part of you. What does humanize mean to you? What does that mean to you and applies to you in your business, and why you think it's important that businesses should apply it to their business?
Well, we all learn through stories and through other people. We learn through other people's failures, and we learn what not to do and what to do by watching, listening, and using basically most of our senses. We are, what makes us human at the core is that we want to connect with other people. And by connecting with other people, we like to learn through them and learn through, like I said, their stories. So if stories are the essence of what builds us up to being our most human selves, then we need to do a better job of telling stories. And I think I think that is a skill that can be trained, that we can learn to do better. And now when you take that, just like you and I are sitting here talking, sharing stories and so on and so forth, but when you take that and you put it into an email, it gets harder, because you don't have a face, you don't have body language, you don't have those senses. You have basically what you have to build that trust. So building that trust and humanizing that trust through stories, through learning, through maybe using things like video or using things like live chat, really building a connection, a real quality human connection. That's going to win the day every time.
Yeah, being human, I think, is a big thing. I think so much of this technology and so much of the things that we use with this technology, like you say, email, social media, online, a lot of it's texting, and so there really isn't a human sort of inflection in the words you're using. Although you can convey some sort of tone through what you write, sometimes it's hard, especially if you're working on Twitter with like 140 characters, to put enough tone into what you're communicating. But yeah, I've always liked your message of being human, because so much of business is really a lot of that's been lost, even in sales. I grew up as an old style salesperson from Zig Ziglar and some of the old Napoleon Hill stuff. I grew up as a salesperson learning from Napoleon, Earl Nightingale. I was a big Earl Nightingale fan back in the day. George Bernard Shaw. And a lot of what I learned was face-to-face human interaction of sales. Yeah. One of my first big sales jobs was going out to metal shops, truck shops, selling truck parts, welding stuff, all stuff that they would use in their shop. It was really hard because I was a young guy wearing a suit, and I'd walk into these things, these 40 and 50-year-old really gritty guys that could probably kick my butt, and I'd have to gain rapport with them, and you'd have to learn to gain rapport with them. And sometimes there were those gritty sort of blue collar sort of dudes, and they'd have to put you through a little bit of vetting, a little bit of breaking your nuts to make sure you're up to par with them. And you'd have to show you're one of the guys, sort of thing, but you had to build that rapport in a very face-to-face sort of thing, which I became good at, and I hope I'm still fairly good at building rapport with people face-to-face. But yeah, you lose all of that ability to gain that rapport, to build on a sort of relationship or start a relationship with a potential client or expand one once you move to these new online metrics that lose a lot of that. I mean, I noticed the one thing you use a lot of in your emails is video. Like I just watched one of your videos this morning off your email where you're asking people for help survey to build out this course you're doing. And that makes a whole big of difference when I can watch a video and have that connection with a person. Oh man. Once video streaming became a thing, and you know this better than anyone, but once video streaming became a thing, it really did humanize and make us more connectable. More somebody that you can understand, you can empathize with, you can really get their body language. Sometimes you meet someone over an email, and then you meet them in person, you're like, wow, two totally different people, and you don't want anybody to ever say that. You want people to always say, wow, that's the same person I met. That I met through the email that I met in person. Other than size, I don't think you can truly tell someone's size on video, but or height. Oftentimes I think people are bigger than they really are, because nobody's ever standing full body on a video. So I always meet someone, and I'm like, my personal trainer is 5'9". I thought he was 6'1". And because of the way that he commands the screen, and the way that he actually presents himself. So you can be larger than life, and that's kind of like that's the virtual reality may end up taking care of that kind of thing, where we can truly see people's size, and we really can kind of see people. But other than that, video is the best way that I've found to really get someone to understand me. And then I also noticed that because I split test what you're talking about, so that survey, I had a 75% increase for the people who were sent to the video page to take the survey over just directly to the survey itself. So video really does humanize it, really does convert it, and it really makes it more personal. I just wish that if I were to do that one extra touch, I would have put an actual chat on there too, and maybe actually have them be able to chat with me live. It's just that I can't be in all places at all times, so that's a hard one to do. Well, I watched the video before we came on, and it certainly made me empathize more with you. I get a million people, of course, asking me for surveys, and it just made me have a whole lot more depth of empathy and want to do the survey than someone who just sends me one in the email and says whatever. I know that my favorite thing to do when I work with new clients or I'm bidding new clients, giving them proposals and stuff, is to get on the phone and actually have a conversation with them. Which I think just helps seal the deal and actually brings that humanness to it, because people really want to know, who's on the other end of that, who's on the other end of that email now, because there's so many crazy emails and scams out there. You just never know.
Yeah, that's right. And people are blitz marketing. It's not targeted. There's some really lazy marketers that are or lazy salespeople that are blitz marketing. And when you see an ad that has nothing to do with you, I'm sorry, but I don't wear ballerina outfits, so I just don't. I know that's a surprise, but I don't. And so when
Bryan is seeing you on one of those.
We'll save that for the imagination. But we have, when you look at ads sometimes, or you look at content and you're like, I just want to call again bullshit on a lazy marketer who didn't take the extra time to pick men versus women to target on their ad. Not that other men don't wear ballerina, but you're probably going to have a higher conversion rate, is all I'm saying. So there are demographics and psychographics as you build your avatar, the right person who's going to buy your product. And I don't think a lot of people fill out and understand their avatar first in order to actually target the right person at the right time, right place.
So you're saying men shouldn't wear ballerina outfits?
Yeah. Facebook just heard us and we're now going to get targeted.
Oh crap. We're screwed. Note to self, tell Amazon to cancel the ballerina outfit order. All right. No, the nice thing about being on camera is the camera adds 10 pounds to your face. From my experience, I think it's like 20 or 25 pounds. And then the nice thing is when people meet you in person, they go, holy crap, you lost weight. And you're like, no, I just got off camera.
Well, with all the weight loss that you've had, you've definitely taken that down.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, taking it down quite a bit. And there was more to lose. This whole thing about aging is really overrated. Youth is wasted on the young when it comes down to it. But it sounds like you're doing some great stuff. I mean, well, I've seen what you're doing, and I know you're doing great stuff. So there's that. So is pretty much the focus then on the short term is to build up this, is it kind of like a mastermind group, I guess, that you have? Yeah.
It's a mastermind group, but also has a lot of learning from like I said before, with the master class teachers, excuse me. And so, we've got we've got Dennis Yu in there. He helped to build Facebook's advertising first generation of their ad network, and so he came in to teach a master class about how to approach Facebook advertising and not waste your money.
Nice.
So we have stuff like that where it's really laser focused, and we've had people really come back and say that because of the tweaks or because of the guidance that they did, their entire businesses have changed. They've doubled revenue. One person is a dog trainer, and she has targeted ads enough that she has an incoming 2 new dogs a week because of her ads. We have CMOs in there that really want to learn all of this stuff, but the people that work for them don't want to teach them because they'll not be as relevant. And so we have people of all levels really trying to understand this digital spectrum and how to actually get, quite frankly, more leads and more sales. So we bring in all the top people to do that, and it's been great. But I think people really actually started enjoying each other too, because now they've become friends actually out of the group, and they're starting to pass leads to each other. They're like, hey, I trust you because we're part of the same mastermind group. So it's been really fun. What I thought it was going to be is totally different than what it became.
That's amazing. It's amazing how sometimes, yeah, how you build a business model and then the consumer changes it and you're like, well, okay, I'll just roll with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a joy. And everyone's very nice, which is so unlike Facebook.
So let's give it a quick plug so people can look at it as we're going through the show. What's the link that they can go to sign up for that and check it out?
Yeah, we have a ton of information at H2, hclub.com.
Okay.
Very easy to get to, and it's that page will show you everything, all the master classes, all the hot seat stuff, the schedules, the themes for the next 12 months. We've got it all laid out.
Awesome, man. That sounds like the best master class I've ever heard of when it comes down to it. Most people just have a mastermind group and it's just, them talking, presenting stuff here and there. But where you guys have a monthly sort of thing and you've got a layout, an agenda, plan, and everything you're doing and guests that you're bringing in to educate people, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. And we say that it's no more than 1 hour a week. Because we know time's limited for most people. So even if you miss something, everything's recorded. It's all accessible in the portal, so you can go see it. We actually turned all of our agency files into swipe files. So we've got every document you can imagine, right down to a photo release or a contract.
Oh, wow.
And we converted all of it into swipe files. So when you get access to all of our agency processes and documents and creative templates. We've got all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. So there's a ton of assets in there that they can use for stuff. That's huge for a lot of people because they don't know how to do the right contracts. They don't know how to, okay, so what do I do with this? How do I do it?
Yeah.
Build it and secure it. I see a lot of social media people that will complain online. Well, the client didn't pay me, and you're just like, you build them, and they haven't set up their business properly to make sure that they don't take certain losses on, and make sure they have good contractual agreements with clients, and then they end up getting financially injured by it.
Right. Yeah, it's business. We're all in business to make money. It's not this isn't a nonprofit. It's a .com, right? That most of us are in the business. It's not a .org. It's a .com. So that is a hard spot, and a lot of people really don't know their worth. I've noticed that too, and I think a little bit of it is finding how to bill, how to invoice, and it's not about the invoice. It's about knowing your worth, and being able to put that across the table and say, this is what people pay me for. This is what I can do for that, and I've done it, and I can prove it. I can tell you, I can show you results because I've done it before. And hearing the word no and saying, okay, it just didn't work out, without feeling like you failed. I think we've brought in master classes just on that topic, and for productivity and for understanding and knowing your worth, and that trickles down to the sales funnel. So you have to know your worth if you're going to sell a product.
Yeah. A lot of entrepreneurs today, I don't think they're really prepared for entrepreneurism. I was lucky early on where I had my first company at 18, and I realized that I needed to know more. And I started to actually prepare myself to become a CEO of a larger company. And so I studied a lot. I literally spent a lot of years preparing to run eventually what became almost 100 people in our companies. And thank God I prepared for it, because it was overwhelming even when it came. But I had that fortunate ability to say, this is where I'm going, and I'm going to prepare for it now. But I think a lot of people, they become entrepreneurs now. Sometimes they just lose a job that they were working at. They have trouble finding a new job, and they go, well, why don't I just use my knowledge here to create an info business or a consulting business, and take and educate, train, everything in this new sort of economy that we have online that's developing. And so, yeah, a lot of people aren't familiar with a lot of the aspects, pitfalls dangers and basics of running a business. You know, they've worked for someone all their life. They've gotten a paycheck guaranteed every Friday or every other Friday. They can kind of they can call it in for a week and not really do any hard work, and they'll still get paid. Being an entrepreneur is a whole different thing, as you and I both know. It's a 24/7 sort of hardworking. You're always thinking about your business, always building it. And there's so many different aspects that you guys are addressing in your club on things to help make that work. So I can see a lot of entrepreneurs can really utilize the services you have, whether it's through the ads or marketing, or whether it's through just how to basically set up and run their business.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the intention. And it's the entrepreneurs, but also the intrapreneurs, the ones inside of companies that are stuck without, way up the ladder, how to learn these new skills, because people are going to be left behind if they don't learn new skills. With AI and machine learning and virtual reality and augmented reality and the list goes on. Without learning new skills, if you're in the commodity business, you're going to lose. It is now is the time to learn new skills. And if you don't, again, it's going to be harder later. So start now and get these skills, because you're going to be more hireable if that's what you're going for. You're going to move up the ladder faster if that's what your move is, or you're going to be a better consultant or a better entrepreneur to understand the new things that are coming out every day. I mean, shoot, direct mail didn't evolve for 10 years. Now overnight, Facebook can change their entire layout, and it affects everybody. So, marketing is changing, sales is changing, the way that we do things is changing so much. You have to build those skill sets, and that's why we provided the service.
Yeah, even Twitter is talking about doubling their character set to 280. So everything is changing, and that will certainly change the way that I run ads, because you'll have more to work with and more stuff you can put in the 280. You've got to keep up on everything. But the other nice thing about your club, if I understand correctly, is it crowdsources the cost of it. Like if somebody comes to me and says, show me how to be an entrepreneur and set up a business, they're going to fall over when they see my invoice. With you, and you've got this club, it's kind of the crowdsourcing that makes it, I don't know if crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, what the right word would be, but basically it makes it so that it brings the cost down of what someone would need to do to learn from someone like you on how to start a business, and of course tap in all the knowledge databases that you guys have put in there. So that's pretty awesome.
It's true. If I work with someone, I charge $10,000 to work with that person. And that's not everyone can afford that. A lot of people can't. And I understand that. So that's exactly why we opened the club. So it's $69 a month. So it's pretty nominal compared to what you would pay us to do.
Yeah.
That one-on-one, and you get access to us. So you can write any question anytime. We actually have, you can ask a question and we'll actually respond back twice a month in a video and tell you exactly how to do something for whatever question you have. So it's like having your own personal CMO without having to pay $10,000.
If I join, can my question be, I want to see Bryan Kramer in a ballerina tutu, and you'll respond with video of you in a tutu?
It might be a Snapchat, since that disappears within 7 seconds. So, or we'll figure out some kind of disappearing, no, let's just keep it. Actually, I don't even know why I'm trying to figure out how you will. So no, you won't. Let's stick to marketing and sales. How about that?
It's a trap, Bryan. Don't go into it. It's a trap.
You're sucking me in.
Well, I wanted to know how firm that line was with you with the ballerina wearing. There's still Halloween coming up. I mean, no one's going to judge you if you wear a ballerina costume on Halloween, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was a movie where that comedian, I can't remember his name, but he ended up putting up on a tutu and started dancing around it in order to be taken into this mental institution. And so what keeps going through my mind is me being dragged into a mental institution for doing this. So I think I'm going to stay away from it for now.
Well, I think I can speak for most of your audience that one of our deep sort of things that we'd love to see Bryan Kramer do is be on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, so okay.
I think that's in your future somewhere, whether you wear a tutu for that or not. But I mean, really, you've done it all. You've written 2 books. You know, you got your mastermind group. You've done TED Talking, speaking. I mean, really, what else is there other than dating on the stars? I mean, you could try The Bachelor, but I'm not sure wife would approve of that. So.
No, yeah, I can tell you right away. She's not going to go for it. But I honestly, I do want to write another book. I do love helping people. I really, really love coaching people. And that's one of the things I'm going to keep pursuing. And I'm going to offer, coaching services, whether it's through the club or privately, and then consulting. So that's really where I'm focused right now. Yeah.
Well, you do an awesome job, Bryan. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I've known you for a long time. I know that you're one of the few people that are in my circle that I have a whole lot of respect for. You have an immense amount of integrity, honesty, and trust in my sort of mind. You're one of the few people that I could probably loan money to and get it back. And I know back. I mean, in all my dealings with you, you've just always held yourself to the highest integrity level, and you really give a crap about people and give a crap about life. And I think that's one of the things that makes you one of the most spectacular influencers that I'm honored to call friends with. So you probably never knew I thought about you in that way, but now you do. So it's kind of weird.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, though. That's
and I think people get that in your brand. I think that really comes across, and I think the video, of course, helps. Like you say, the H2H chat, and everything else, and then of course your wife Courtney is on it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to make sure I'm horrible with names, but great with faces. And so you guys do that show. It's pretty awesome.
We do the club together as well. Actually, we do everything that we're doing. We partner on together. So the agency, the club, the H2H chat. We just started speaking on stage together. We just spoke together for the very first time last week in Reno. And wow. And it went so well. I'm so excited. I would go speak with her again. I wasn't sure how it was going to work. We worked together and lived together and are married, so I knew it was going to be fine. But it was like better than fine. Like we actually didn't interrupt each. It wasn't like a married couple. It was like a really kind of. I was blown away, and I really think she did a great job. So I can't wait for her to get on more stages.
Well, be careful she doesn't upstage you. She's a good-looking woman. I mean, it might be that everyone's just going to be like, you know what? We just want to hear from her because she's
I would love it. I hope that happens. My whole job is to put myself out of business. So, if I have to stay home and while she's doing her thing, I would be like, I'm here to do that. I'm here to support you. I would love for her to have her time in her day too.
Yeah, I mean that's why I don't put anybody more good looking than I am up on the stage, which is because I know that I'll get outshined every time. You'd be like, yeah, can we lose him and we'll keep her? But no, it's awesome that you guys have a great relationship, and of course we see that play out online. You guys are just a cute couple together. But it's awesome you guys can actually work together. A lot of couples can't work together, on a day work sort of basis and survive in a relationship.
Yeah, it's I think it's the kind of thing where it's pretty black and white. It either works or it doesn't, because there are personality fits and there are personality fits that don't fit. And I think we got lucky. We're a fit. And the other thing though too is that we didn't set any rules. I know a lot of people have rules around their relationship, and we really have none. There isn't like a rule set over, you know, what time we work, what time we finish working. You know, it's just, you know, thinking for the other person and being nice. Like just take the other person into account. And we are, sorry, I'm going to say it, but we are human. We're going to screw up. So,
Yeah.
But you know, where we probably have more of our arguments is in who's picking up the kids, you know, from school and that kind of stuff. So we're not perfect by any means. That stuff happens, but at work it's totally different. I don't think we've really ever. I can't remember even arguing at or about work.
Wow.
It's really more around family stuff than, you know, the everyday stress stuff.
Yeah, everyone goes through that where you're like, you know, that's a normal marriage. It really is amazing. I read a long time ago, there's only 5% or 8% of couples that can work together and not choke each other out by the end of the day. I know in my relationships, I was always like, look, I got to go somewhere for 8 to 10 hours so that I can appreciate you when I come back. But I'm kind of broken that way. But, you know, what was that old saying? Being away from someone makes the fondness grow stronger or something.
The heart grows stronger. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I traveled 4 years ago. I started traveling a lot, as you know, and I spoke a lot. I was gone about 300 days of the year for 2 years in a row. And it was about 80 to 90% of the time was without her or the kids. That's also when my health went to shit. But I also lost touch with my family, and so I reversed all that because of that. I learned from that. I had a wonderful time traveling and a great time speaking, but it wasn't worth it compared to the disconnects. You know, it's a choice. Do I want to be at CES, or you know, do I want to be home when my son is 13 and having his first, you know, baseball game or something like that? And I gotta pick my priorities, you know.
That's the one thing that's great about you, Bryan. You talk a lot about your kids on Facebook and stuff, and sometimes in your relationship, especially with your son, sometimes I'm like, man, you know, sometimes I wish I had a son. But then when he posts on Facebook that he's cracked your password, then I go, maybe that's why I don't have a son. But he was actually really good about it. I mean, I know a lot of other kids that probably would have been pretty evil if they got a hold of their dad's Facebook. You know? He was actually pretty funny. He
scares me. Kids, all kids, you know, they really, I hate to sound like our dads probably sounded like, oh, those kids, but you know, he can crack into the best of servers. He has his own server that he built. He has 1,200 people playing on his game that he designed and built and programmed. He learned Lua, the coding language, to build. And he's built these little characters that you can upgrade inside. So he's making money on everyone's upgrades inside the game. And he has a staff of 29 people that is like helping on it, from everything from administration to moderation to build. The dude actually built guides out, like help guides. So each person has their own help guide. And he said, anytime someone asks a question, I say, read your help guide. I'm not here to be your mom or, you know, whatever. And so he's actually put all the business logic into this whole thing. And I'm like, holy crap, this is what the new generation can do. And he's 13. I'm like, what the heck?
When I was his age, we were throwing dirt clods against the wall of our house because it looked cool. Yeah. And we were digging up pot guts that had burrowed in the yard and throwing the football out front and building tree houses. And that was about the amount of logic that we were involved in building anything. It's amazing. I remember when the iPad first came out and you saw these babies at 2 years old mastering the iPad, and I'm like, when I was 2, I was pooping and wearing my poopy trainer on my head. These guys are mastering coding in the iPad at 2 or 3 years old.
That's right.
And I can see their future is going to be pretty amazing. And I'm pretty jealous. I tried coding, and it just never works for me. Evidently, I got laid too much in the 90s and dated, and evidently, the more of that you do, the less you have the ability to code. So I don't know what that's about.
Focused effort. That's you focused your effort elsewhere.
Something. I don't know what it is. If you're good with the ladies, you don't code well. I don't know. I'm just going with that joke. It's a bit. But no, it's awesome that your son's got that ability. He seems like a great who's well adjusted. I mean, at 13, I talked to my nephew and niece about what their future plans are and everything else. And I've told my brother, I'm like, you really should get him into coding and computers, because that's really the future of where things are going. The one thing I regret about not having children is I do a lot of gaming these days, and on Twitch and stuff, YouTube. And there's a lot of hard parts to gaming. And one of the things that my brother has with his nephew is he can get his son to do all the hard gaming for him and level up his characters and stuff. And so I've actually been thinking about adopting a child that's really good at my favorite game online so that they can master it for me.
See, now you should be building a sales funnel specifically to adopting a son for that reason.
Yeah. The only problem is, I think if I try to adopt children, they'll probably read my Facebook and be like, oh, hell no.
Right.
And I'm not sure my parole agent says it's okay for me around kids anymore. So I'm not sure what that. I'm just kidding. But no, it's awesome, man. You got the whole family in the online services business there, man. That's just great.
Oh no, my daughter's very artistic, and she's offline. And,
good for her.
So she's the anomaly, and I'm really happy for her that she's much more outdoors, and she's the opposite. The 2 kids get along very well, but she's opposite in that way.
Well, that's great. She's going to get vitamin D and not have a vitamin D deficiency like those of us who work indoors.
Right.
See no sun.
Yeah.
She'll actually get a suntan. So, well, it sounds like you're. Let me ask you this: what sort of tips would you give a couple that are trying to work together or start their entrepreneur business together? Any tip that you want to throw out that maybe you think is a key feature to making that work?
Not just even for couples, but anyone who wants to start their own business. I think I would say that the first thing you need to do is you don't need a business plan, but you do need to work out who your perfect avatar is and what that looks like. Who's your perfect sweet spot? What is it that will fulfill them, and then what are their pain points? What are you trying to achieve?
Are there different things you guys are both good at that complement each other?
Oh yeah. So absolutely. Courtney can design. She has an advertising and design degree. I can't design. There's no design bone in my body. I can use Canva, but that doesn't count. She can design, and she can also she's her creative mind when it comes to when we do big campaigns. She thinks of big ideas that are so creative, and the storyline that gets woven into everything that gets put out there, how it gets designed, how it gets in every medium. She can art direct videos, like really high-end videos, better than I can ever do. So there's a creativity. That's not to say I'm not creative. I'm just not creative in that way. Comes through content and writing. I can write. She can write, but I can also write, and I can also. I have a knack for financials, which is I would say that's probably where I'm a little bit stronger. I can look at a financial spreadsheet and understand it, which is rare for a marketer. I can look at a business value and understand how where the profit margin is going to be, and then how does that equate to sales, marketing, HR, everything within a business. So I'm really a business a CEO or a president, and she's run her own business before and can play CEO, but she also loves the role of creative director.
Yeah.
So if you had to put us into two buckets, that's what it would be.
One of the things I always admire is the creative element of entrepreneurs or people that work for entrepreneurs or with entrepreneurs. I've always studied business from very early on because I didn't know what business I was ever going to go into, and we were always going into different things. And so I'd always walk into most businesses, and just my brain would start counting stuff and start figuring out sort of work that went into it or ideas that went into it. But I've always been amazed when I go into businesses that have beautiful layouts with these, especially like restaurants, with these, the creativity that went into the beauty of how they set everything up. And I once again don't have that bone in my body where I'm just like, somebody says, hey, you should use a different font. I'm like, what? There's more than one?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm good when I'm supplied with a style guide as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where she shines. So I'm really lucky to have that, that she has that.
Yeah, I think it's great if you have two different strengths that complement each other, like you say. Years ago, my best friend, I think we were best friends for 22 years, business partners for 13. He was like a brother to me, so we had a little bit of that going on. But we complement each other very well. I was the visionary CEO. I was great at creating new ideas, new concepts, creating and innovating new ways of doing the business. And he was really great at the mundane work, at like the paperwork, the accounting, doing the, just the processing the stuff. And I was the sort of guy that I go insane if I have to do a lot of mundane stuff. My spirit dies and I just want to kill myself if I have to do something that's mundane. But he was really good at it. But if I handed him a yellow pad on a weekend and said, I need you to come back with ideas because we're bleeding out in some segment of our business. We need to resolve this and innovate this so that we're not bleeding out money anymore. He couldn't come up with any ideas. If you asked him to come up with ideas out of the atmosphere, he couldn't come up with them. But he was really good at you show him what to do, he does it. He was like a machine. And then I could be the creative genius and crazy man running around with all the crazy ideas. And we complement each other really well as a team. And we never really stepped on each other's toes either, because I couldn't understand what he did and he couldn't understand what I did. So I think that can make a difference in a couple.
That makes a great partnership when you both bring something to the table and you trust each other. I think that's a huge thing, because if you don't trust the other person and you're always looking over their shoulder, that really weakens the not just the relationship, but the client can see it, and the work value comes out differently. So finding that chemistry, or finding somebody with that chemistry, that's huge.
Yeah, it can make a big difference. One big example of that not working out is Twitter in the early days. The infighting that was going on between Ev, Biz, and what's his face was pretty huge, and it really crippled Twitter and gave Facebook the edge when it came down to it, because of the infighting and the pushing around that goes into that, which has finally now been documented in a book. But that can really hurt a business. And I think it really hurt Twitter for the long run when it came down to it. And being, for a long time, people said, which is going to be the winning social media platform, Facebook or Twitter? I think Facebook, of course, has won. And of course, I think they're profitable now, or almost close to profitable, where Twitter is not near close. So having those relationships are important. So what other things do you have going on? What do you want to plug? And I don't want to take up all your time, and let's talk about whatever else you want to take and cover.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I could leave you with one other thing that I am working on, and that's within a week, I'll be coming out with the human sales funnel, and that's gonna be a new course that I think I mentioned earlier. It's going to walk through from beginning to end how to train people. I'm going to have trainers. I have trained a whole bunch of trainers, so everyone gets their own trainer, their personal trainer, and
Wow.
We're going to teach them by the end of the entire course how to build your own ads through a model that we've built, how to onboard leads into your sequence, how to then build your sequence, and then how to build the right webinar that sells through to your end product. So basically, we're going to teach the whole process, and then coming back into it, it's injecting the human touch point. So we actually have laid out certain touch points where you can actually build engagement back with all of your potential clients. So I'm really excited about it. That's going to be my biggest thing all year.
Now, is that going to be, how can people get info on that? Is that going to be at the club part, or?
Yeah, it's not actually up yet. I didn't plan on announcing that here today, but since you asked, I went for it. But sure. It will be up at humansalesfunnel.com.
Humansalesfunnel.com.
Yeah. So if you go to humansalesfunnel.com a week from today, so it will be up. Let's see, if you're looking at dates. Yeah, I'm certainly not prepared for this because I didn't plan on saying this, but it'll be up on the 30th.
Cool.
So you can go on the 30th, October 30th, to thehumansalesfunnel.com.
Cool. And then a lot of people will have this on their iTunes and their Google Play, so they'll be hearing it throughout the year. So they'll probably be able to tune in, and it'll be live then.
Well, it's a deadline, so you got to sign up. It closes down. The registration closes down 10 days after, so it's going to close down, and the whole classes will start on October 13th. So cool. By October 13th, you got to be signed up, or otherwise I won't be doing this for I think another year.
That'll be pretty awesome. I think what you're doing is going to be freaking awesome, and it's going to help a lot of people. I know a lot of people come to me and they ask me for help, and they just can't afford me, and they want personalized one-on-one help, and you just can't do that last time I checked, my mortgage doesn't take those gratis payments. I wish they did, but I'd love to be so rich I could give my time to everybody. I would if I was rich. I'd help everyone. But we have to get back there, I guess. But give us some other places people can follow you. They can, of course, go to bryankramer.com. Where are some of the other places they can find you on the interwebs?
Anywhere Bryan Kramer. So at Bryan Kramer on Twitter, at Bryan Kramer on Facebook, or / Bryan Kramer. Bryan Kramer on LinkedIn. Bryan with a Y, Kramer with a K. So sometimes people put an I in there. So if you use a Y, you'll get the right person. And then bryankramer.com and H2H Club.com.
Mm-hmm. And my hope is, Bryan, that you'll get famous. I think I speak for my audience, that you'll get famous enough that you could be on Dancing on the Stars with the ballerina tutu. I think we can go.
I'm going to check my email. Maybe that. Oh, they just emailed.
So everyone is watching this. Hashtag Dancing with Stars, Bryan Kramer, ballerina. Just go ahead and hashtag that. Let's create a movement going to get Bryan on Dancing with the Stars.
Kramer with the Stars. I love it.
That'd be awesome. Maybe you could do, maybe that could be a segment in your mastermind group. I'm not saying I would, but I might be more interested in joining if I knew there was a video on. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyway, Bryan, it's good to have you on the show. We need to have you on more often because I can always pick your brain for awesome stuff, and you have a great life experience and stuff that you put online. You're one of the few people that I follow on Facebook that always has interesting stuff and introspective stuff and human stuff, which I really like. And that's an important factor, I think, when people come to your brand and see your brand and get to know you better.
Thank you so much, Chris. The feeling's mutual.
You got it. And then did we give your Twitter account?
Yeah, at Bryan Kramer.
At Bryan Kramer. The nice thing is he's like me. You can find him everywhere at Bryan Kramer. So thanks for being on the show, Bryan. We'll love to have you on in the future. We also want to have your wife on in the future one of these days. You can bring her together with you, or you guys can do a thing together, or whichever. So all that good stuff.
Oh, you would love her topic. Her book, right? 21 Reasons Why Creativity is like sex. Yeah. 21 Reasons Why Creativity is Like Sex.
Yeah, that's an interesting book. Now, was that sex with you or was that sex with another? No, I'm just kidding.
It was all, the research was horrible, let me tell you. Having to go through all the 21 reasons, it was pain. No, I'm kidding.
Honey, we need to work on reason number 22. 7. No, we're just doing 21. Come on, we need more reasons. I'm not sure what that means.
But I'm sure she would be happy to. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So thanks, Bryan, once again for coming on. Be sure to go check out Bryan. Go to his Twitter, go to bryankramer.com and all the different facilities he's got online. Follow him on Facebook. That's where I really like following Bryan. He's got a lot of great stuff he shares about him, his family, his relationship. He has a great marriage. So if you want to have a great marriage, I think he might be a great person you can learn from how to have a good relationship. I know I look at what you do online and you're introspective on all that sort of stuff. Hopefully maybe it'll help me have a great relationship one of these days. I have a great relationship with my dog, so that helps in some way at being a caring, good human being.
It's a step in the right direction.
Are you saying I'm not and I just need to still work towards it? Yeah, I think you're right. So anyway, thanks for coming on, Bryan. Thanks to our audience for tuning in to the podcast. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that bell notification button so you get notifications on all the stuff we do. Follow us on Periscope where we're live. Thanks to AT&T for sharing with us the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. We reviewed them on the Chris Voss Show, so you can see those reviews. Be sure to also, AT&T is going to be coming out with the Note 8, which I'm really excited about. And if you really want to and you hate yourself, you can buy an iPhone from AT&T as well. I wouldn't recommend it. Buy an Android. You'll love yourself better. Treat yourself right. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. We certainly appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and tune in. And thanks for being on the show, Bryan. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.